Wait, so if it was Moose, he would just say, "Well, why do you have a fear of heights? Like, what is driving that fear? Did you have an experience that made you fearful?"
Yeah, and then I would tell him, "Yeah, I was on top of, like, a really tall building one time," and then he was like, "How tall was it? So what if it was, like, 1 story lower? What about 2 stories? What if it's just, like, on top of a house?" Like, and then he would figure out the exact, like, millimeter mark where it becomes scary for me to be on top of a height.
Moose shit! Welcome to Moose Shit, where we spout bullshit. My name is Moose, and I'm joined by my dauntless day trippers, Kub and Al. How you guys doing today?
That one wasn't great, man. I'm doing good though, Moose. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. I have
That's
been. It's been nothing but straight W's for a fucking week straight. Remember how we recorded like 2 episodes ago? Like, oh well, you're just laughing right now, but then in editing, Moose, he's gonna cry. He's gonna cry the entire time. Moose isn't crying. I'm not crying. Al, do you want to explain why you're crying right now?
it's just ridiculous. 49ers just I mean, it was a great game. I mean, I can't lie. It's not like they just didn't do well, but in the overtime, I saw online that the guys didn't know the overtime rules. You're a professional football player in the highest level in the most watched game in the nation, and you don't know the overtime rules, but they would have lost anyway, even if it was what they were thinking it was.
What did they think it was?
Well, I the overtime rules recently changed because it originally used to be that if you score a touchdown, you win and the other team doesn't get possession. But now they changed it so that both teams get possession. But that may seem like it's more fair, but in that case, the advantage actually goes towards the team that has it second because they have essentially four downs to score because it's a do or die in that scenario where they need to score a touchdown.
Alex, the reason that you said why it's unfair for or why it's better for the team to take the ball second is actually because if you think about it this way, like let's say Chiefs 40 or 49ers will just do let's say the 49ers got the ball first and then they scored. According to the old overtime rules, they would have just won the game. But
Yeah.
now, because the Chiefs can score and then tie the game up, then it'll go just into sudden death, whoever scores first. But the Chiefs said that their whole plan was if they did score a touchdown, the 49ers, and the Chiefs were able to match their touchdown, they were just going to go for two to try to win it. Because then they automatically like if you think about it like this, if the Chiefs scored a touchdown and then they just kick the extra point afterwards, and then it just goes back to a sudden
Yeah.
death game, then the 49ers just have the hugest advantage
Yeah.
because they're going to have the ball. So then the Chiefs' strategy was just even if they do score a touchdown, we'll just go for two and we'll just score on a 2 point conversion, or we'll try that instead of trying to trust our defense and then having to score again anyway. So like that's why the Chiefs had
Oh,
like
so
this
so in that case, it's really not that unfair because I was thinking it's unfair in either rule that you have. It's unfair in the first one, it's unfair in this one because they would one team would still have an advantage. But in what you're saying, and I don't know how even it is, but it definitely seems like it's probably the best solution
I
for
mean,
overtime rules.
in my opinion, if I wouldn't like, if I'm trying to improve how entertaining the NFL could be, I would switch it to like the college overtime rules, which is like probably the most exciting thing if you get into like a crazy game.
Wait,
And
what are those?
so basically in college, if you go into overtime, you start on like the 20 or 25-yard line, I never remember, and all you have to do is just score. So you start at like the other 20-yard line. So you're in the red zone pretty much already. And the point is just to score a touchdown. And then the way it works is both teams are going to start from that point. So both teams can score and then they just keep going. And then it comes on one team's defense to make a play. and win the game. And that's what I think in the NFL. That's why I hated this rule change. This rule change only happened because the Bills are crybabies and they suck. And then they want to sit there and complain. Bro, they lost to the Chiefs. Who is it? Is it the overtime rules fault that you allowed a field goal? You allowed Patrick Mahomes to get up the field in 12 seconds? Is that the because overtime is unfair to you? No, it's because you don't know how to play defense. And I think this just encourages teams to not be good at defense. And I hate that because I love defense in the NFL. Watching a good defense is so much better than watching a good offense.
Yeah, so now Moose is a bandwagon Chiefs fan.
Yeah, like Moose, who scored the touchdown to win the game?
Yay! Yay!
Exactly. Please don't shit talk about
Some guy.
Alex then. Okay, so then just shut up then. We don't even have to get into it then. Because the only players you know are Patrick Mahomes, which everybody fucking knows, and Travis Kelce, who everybody fucking knows. So you have as much knowledge as like an 8-year-old girl that has TikTok.
Damn.
Please just do not speak about the
I mean,
Chiefs or about football.
isn't Jacoby one of them? I
Who?
think you have the wrong person. It was Jason. Hey, let me see. Easy Chiefs.
We'll cut this part out, Moose, don't worry.
There's a guy. Pacheco. Oh, I knew that. I just didn't know that.
I mean, you should probably know Pacheco considering he went to the same school as us. Everybody at
Well,
Rutgers
that's why
really
I'm
knows
saying that I
him.
knew that.
I said Jacoby.
Yeah, the what?
Oh,
Pacheco, Jacoby. It's just not the
Sorry.
same whatsoever.
Okay, I get it. I'm a 13-year-old girl in actuality.
So I just saw a post that said EA Sports College Football is coming in 2025, and the last release of it was in 2014, and it promises it's college football, right? So it'll include all the college teams. Promises to offer more than a simple reskin of Madden. Emphasis will be placed on Dynasty and Road to Glory modes, which features such as the transfer portal and expanded playoff expected to be included. So I've shit talked a lot of EA a lot, but if this hits, I will take back everything.
I mean, bro, NCAA is like a very, very well-renowned franchise from like even people still play NCAA 14
Hmm.
now because that's how much they like the game. And honestly, I'm looking forward to that so much more because the one thing that Madden never does that like sports fans hate is like on 2K they pride themselves on making a really good career mode, and on Madden the career mode is just so trash every year. Like never good, never fun. Like it's the same old thing pretty much. But with NCAA, you go from like a kid in high school as the like if you're a quarterback in high school, and based on how you do, you get offers, and then you could go to a team, like you could go to like a mid-major college, and then you could have like the start of your college career there. You ball out there, and then you transfer to Alabama or something like that. Like there's so many different storylines you could go through because of it's college football instead of stupid Madden where it's just the same old bullshit.
And this is what we were talking about before. The last game was in 2014, and this is coming out in 2025. So they've had 11 years to perfect this game, which is like on the level of like GTA 6. So I'm not expecting it to be that good, obviously, but they had a lot of time to perfect it. And I don't know what was going on in the meantime with licenses and all that, but I have high hopes.
Well, yeah, that's the thing though. You can't. They weren't working on the game in between, so it's not I'm sure GTA 6 like they didn't start immediately, but like for most of the time in between, they were probably planning out GTA 6. Compared to like this, they're just like restarting now and making into like a new project now because they got like the name, image, likeness
Yeah.
to call through. So
Do you guys want to go to a Super Bowl game ever?
I will go to a Super Bowl game in the future. Yes.
Um.
Oh, so it's like for sure.
Yes, like once I am an adult. But actually, I'm not gonna say for sure because I'm only gonna go to a Super Bowl if the Patriots are gonna be playing in the Super Bowl. So hypothetically, I hope that sometime within like the next 50 or 60 years that I'm alive, that the Patriots make it back to the Super Bowl. But if they don't, then I'm not gonna go. But if they do, and it's not within like if it's in like the next 2 years, then I probably won't be able to go. But like after that, I'll be able to go to anyone I want pretty much. So
Definitely not going within the next 2 years. But
yeah, like in the slight chance that some bullshit happens.
but you won't know who's going to the Super Bowl until 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, and 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, the prices are like 10 times what they were originally. And you're willing to like pay 10 times the price or however much it is?
Okay, Alex, let's imagine this scenario, right? Uh, so let's be honest. The Patriots probably will not be in the Super Bowl for at minimum the next 5 years, right? They're
Uh-huh.
pretty awful right now, and it's gonna take a while. So we'll just say minimum 5 years, more likely 15 years, around that mark. I would say 15 years from now, there would be a chance that they have either been in a Super Bowl or they would be going. Let's just say that's the longest. So 15 years from now, I started watching the Patriots in the 2010 season, the year before that the year before they played the Giants in the Super Bowl the second time. That's when I started watching football and following the Patriots. At that point, I was 8 years old. Right now, I'm 21. If we go 15 years in the future, then I'm 36 years old. So that is like 25 years of my life that I would have committed to a team. So do you think I wouldn't spend like even if it is like and I'm by that point I'm gonna have a real job and be making real money. You don't think I would spend like 2 grand to go see the team in the Super Bowl, like the pinnacle of that sport?
Yeah, but I mean, it's 2 grand for seats that aren't that great, right? I mean, the better seats you want, they're gonna be
I mean,
costing
yeah, but
more.
like
Not to
I'm
mention flight
dedicated to
and
the
all
team,
that.
so like I would I would spend money. Like I just said 2 grand because like that's like the bare minimum, but like I could imagine myself easily if I'm like 36 years old, bro, like imagine what you would spend on like a very expensive like vacation or something like that. I would spend that money and tell like my wife or whatever. I said we're either like taking a cheap vacation this year or we're not going at all, and I'm going to watch this because
No,
I am
I
committed.
I agree, but I think the Super Bowl is generally entertaining no matter who's playing. But I agree that if you're going to spend all that money, might as well make it be your team if you can have it be your team.
Yeah, I'm not about to fucking I wouldn't have gone this year to go watch the Chiefs and the 49ers in Vegas when the prices were ridiculous. Like
Oh
this
yeah,
was a good Super Bowl, but like it just became a spectacle, like not even related to like the quality of the game. Like in terms of the game quality, like this was a good Super Bowl after the fact. But like even going into it, it was like a going to be a close game, but it wasn't like hyped up because like people are kind of like not too excited about these teams or like other Super Bowls. Like people were really hyped up. Like I like when Tom Brady and the Bucks were playing the Chiefs. Like that was like very exciting. And then this one being in Vegas, I feel like Vegas just made it a whole. I don't like when sports like big sports things are in Vegas because they just do way too much, bro. Like they had Michael or they had Bruce Buffer like introducing the teams like 4 games before or 4 days before the game, like introducing them onto the field. I'm like, bro, they're not even like you're introducing them onto the field, and it's not for the game. It's just like for some like 4 days before the game pregame ceremony. Like it's so weird. They did it with like Formula One too, with like a whole thing. It's so annoying, and I just don't like it. Like I get everything is like crazy in Vegas, but I just do not like that at all.
all the prices and everything is the experience is just greater in Vegas because that's what it is. But um, I actually think that that was a perfect city to have the Super Bowl in because if you imagine peak entertainment, which is what the Super Bowl is in America, and the peak entertainment city for that is Vegas. I think it was perfect.
Did you see the amount of people that like flew to Vegas in private jets and like the amount
Oh,
of
I saw that.
it
That
was
came
just so
out?
bad.
Yeah.
It just pissed me off looking at it.
Well, there was a Super Bowl in LA. I don't know if it was last year or a couple years ago, and so many celebrities were there. So the celebrities do make it kind of annoying because they're just there just because they can afford it.
I don't care if a celebrity comes to the game. It's like, why are you taking a private jet for an hour car ride? Like you're just
Because
wasting
they're
so
able
much,
to.
you're just putting so much pollution, and you're just damaging the earth so much in such an avoidable way.
Anyways, if the Super Bowl was here in MetLife, would you go? Even if the Patriots weren't playing?
No, I wouldn't. I honestly, I think MetLife Stadium is terrible.
It is.
It literally, bro, the seats are extremely uncomfortable. It's like a fishbowl, so like anytime it's a cold game, which if it's February, it's going to be cold. All the cold air just collects like the closer you are to the field, like it's just gonna cold air just collects down there, and then even if you're at the top, the elevation, the breeze is just gonna make you freezing cold, and especially if the Patriots aren't playing, I'm not subjecting myself to that when I could watch it on my TV.
So what I wanted to talk about is I saw on Instagram. It's funny because we were just talking about this yesterday. OpenAI,
No.
which is
Please
the maker
God,
behind
bro.
ChatGPT. No, we won't talk about. Well, they unveiled Sora, which is the text to video generator. And I don't know if you've watched these videos, but these videos are super realistic. And it also shows here just a year ago. I don't know if you guys remember Will Smith eating spaghetti, but that was what it used to be a year ago, and it was horrendous. That video was disgusting. But this video is actually super realistic, and I'm not sure I would be able to tell the difference if I wasn't paying extreme attention to stuff like the hands and the walking movements. But this is kind of scary. So I want to know if you guys saw the video, what your thoughts
Wow,
are.
that's a really interesting point that you made. Let's move on. Back
What?
to bucket list. Please.
Why?
I don't want to talk about this again. I don't want to get yelled at for another hour.
I just
Please.
This is
Moose.
different,
For
bro. This is
context, Moose
different.
just didn't turn on his listening ears yesterday, and he just did not listen to anything me, Alex, or Jason was saying, and then he just was screaming at us when we were just trying to explain.
I was screaming. I was screaming. Okay. Okay.
Okay, Moose was just sitting there, fucking going off about how we're making one point that we did not make because he misheard us, and then he just argued that for an hour. And then Moose just doesn't understand, which very frustrates me a lot about Moose, but we don't have to get into, is that somebody else can have an opposite opinion and they don't. But if you disagree with Moose, you better tell him every single supporting detail on why you disagree with him because he is going to ask you every single thing, everything. Not just because you could just say it and it could just be a general statement that like is generally accepted. Nope, Moose just has to get to every last detail.
Is the conversation real that we were having really as simple as, oh, which one do you prefer, chocolate or vanilla? Or was it,
Okay, Moose,
what does
but can you
art
not
mean?
agree?
What's the definition of art?
Okay, but Moose,
All right, we don't have to go into this, most if you don't. This is a different topic.
I just don't understand how Moose is gonna bring that point up and then we like made it very obvious what we considered art. And that was the whole thing. Moose was asking me what I consider art, or asking Jason, what do you consider art? And then we would give our answer, and then he would try to make it seem like we were being inconsistent with our logic
I
when it
missed
was very
one.
cut and dry what we were trying to say.
I missed a point in the statement. Okay, I'm sorry. The listeners literally have no clue as to what we're talking about. Let's move
Okay, so
on.
I
then
know. That's
let's
why
just
I'm
move
trying to
on then.
talk about Sora, or we could just
Let's just
move
move
on.
on because I don't want to get into this again. Sadly, we
Okay.
couldn't have that discussion on the podcast because that would have been great. But can we move on to the topic, please?
Okay, the reason I asked about whether or not you wanted to go to the Super Bowl is because for a lot of people, that is a bucket list item, something that they will like to do before they quote unquote kick the bucket, or in other words, die. So if the Super Bowl in general is not a bucket list item, I know it is if the Patriots go to the Super Bowl, but otherwise, that's not necessarily a Super Bowl bucket list item. What is for you guys?
Well, I'll just kick it off with the classic skydiving. I know that's cliche,
Oh, that's
but
so corny. It's just
bro,
so corny.
I want to go skydiving, but I need someone to go with me. Would you go skydiving? Or either of you go skydiving?
Sure.
No,
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Wow.
I'm not going. I have a fear of heights. Why would I go skydiving?
You have a yeah, but that's it's like it's just like free falling. It's not like you're gonna
Wow,
hurt
it's
yourself.
just free falling. Wow,
No.
you're
I'm
really
just saying.
convincing me.
You,
Why would I? I don't want to have the feeling of free falling.
fear of heights is stemmed from the fact that you can hurt yourself if you fall off,
Yeah.
Okay.
but you can't hurt yourself because
You can't hurt yourself skydiving?
No, I mean it's the not really. I mean, how can you hurt yourself
By the parachute.
if the guy forgets a parachute?
No, I mean parachutes fail all the time. There's a reason why they have you sign a
Literally.
waiver.
Hold on, failure rate of skydiving. 1 in every 1,000 parachutes, not always.
Wow.
So it works.
That is.
It works.
I bet you thought it was gonna be 1 in like a million or something. Well, guess what? 1 in 1,000. I'm not comfortable with that. That doesn't seem.
No, but that's
Just
just
saying
that
enough
they don't
numbers.
operate at 100% efficiency. The fatality rate is 0.51 per 100,000 jumps, meaning the odds of dying is just 0.0002%.
Yeah, because not that many people go skydiving. I'm sure if more people went skydiving, that failure rate would go up.
There's been 3.9 million jumps made in 2022.
Al, how many people are on Earth? The answer is 7 billion.
All right. But
How many
all right,
people are
I
in
mean, fine.
America?
I mean, if you
300 million.
I'm not trying to pull a moose here and trying to get every single aspect of why you don't want to go skydiving. I'm just saying I want to go skydiving. That's all.
Okay,
Anyways,
we don't have to call
what's
that
your bucket
pulling a
list?
moose. We don't have to call that pulling a moose.
Well, that wasn't even pulling a moose. That like what you just did was not even the same. Moose's thing is like he just doesn't understand, so he just keeps asking questions. You just wanted to change my mind, and we're just saying, "Oh, but the fatality rate is so low." Like you were actively just trying to
Wait,
change my mind.
Al
Moose is just a
misunderstood
more
something. Al misunderstood something that both you and Jason have said in the past. He was pulling an owl while saying he wasn't pulling a moose.
yeah. That is just classic Alex right there.
That is
Textbook
advanced
Alex.
stuff. Wait, so if it
Alex,
was
you gotta-
moose, he would just say, "Well, why do you have a fear of heights? Like, what is driving that fear? Did you have an experience that made you fearful?"
Yeah, and then I would tell him, yeah, I was on top of like a really tall building one time, and then he was like, how tall was it? So what if it was like 1 story lower? What about 2 stories? What if it's just like on top of a house? Like, and then he would figure out the exact like millimeter mark where it becomes scary for me to be on top of a height. That's how it's done in the moose way.
But anyways, I would like to go skydiving because I think I don't necessarily have a psychological fear of heights. My body reacts to heights though. Like if I'm standing on top of a couch and I just stick my hand out, my hand starts to get numb because my body is afraid of the height. Like I myself am fine with it. Like, does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Wait,
I
not
kind of
really.
get it.
You're sitting on a couch and you stick
No.
your hand out?
Standing. Like if I stand on like the edge of a couch, like where you put the armrest. If I go onto there, so that's like what
Oh.
4 feet. So if I just go
Yeah,
4 feet up on like an unstable surface, my hand starts to go numb, even though I'm not necessarily afraid.
I know what you're talking about because I've been like trying to like go over a fence before, and like the point where like you're on top of the fence, like I'm not actually scared of that because like that's not that tall of a height, but I can feel my body kind of being like not scared but like wary of like the like being up there, and like that's
So
not
I
even
want to
that
go
high up.
skydiving because I want to see how like my body reacts. Basically, like, can I take it? I also want to go running with the bulls though.
Moose, you would get destroyed by the bulls, man.
I can dodge, bob and weave, you know.
You are not dodging shit, man.
People die from that, bro.
People die from skydiving.
I bet the fatality rate is not even as bad as you think it is, Alex.
From bulls?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Do you think the bulls stop like you get trampled and they don't like stop and like just like keep going and like going to town on you? They just keep running.
Oh my god. It's
Only
actually
15 people have died since
Wow.
record
Oh
keeping
my
has been
god.
started in 1910.
Look at me, man. I'm all over you today, Alex. You suck.
wow. Wow.
Is traveling interesting for you guys? Because I've,
No.
I've always heard like people go like, oh, I want to travel to this place, but like unless there's something that you're doing there, traveling has really never interested me, ever. Especially like when it's just for sightseeing, because I can just pull up a picture, and it pretty much is what the same amount of enjoyment that I'd be getting if I actually went there.
I mean, I wouldn't want
No,
to go to see like I don't really like say if somebody says like, "Oh, I want to go to France to see the Eiffel Tower." I don't really care about the Eiffel Tower because it's just a fucking building. Like I could like the picture thing I feel like applies to that. But then like if you're talking about somewhere like the Grand Canyon, like that's like notorious for people saying that like the pictures do it no justice. Like when you see it in person, just so much
Mhm.
like more exciting. Then I would say like I would want to travel there because I actually want to see the Grand Canyon in person and like be able to take in all the views for myself.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Moose is saying really, because like you, we could say Cancun because Cuba's been to Cancun. I have not, but
Right.
Cancun, you can look at pictures of Cancun and look at the beaches and everything, but that does not
No, I mean
compare
that, but
to
that's
actually
not what
being there.
Moose is saying. That's not what Moose is saying. He doesn't
Are
understand.
you
Just like
going to
like
Cancun just to look at the beach?
yeah, no, that like I think
No,
Moose. Are you saying something along the lines of like you don't get like those people that'll just like like go around Europe and go like sightseeing, like just like kind of just
Yeah,
like stopping in each place, going to like the
yeah.
biggest like
So like,
tourist attraction. Like go to Rome, you see the
yeah.
Colosseum.
So
You go
like
to
people
France,
who go to
Tower.
yeah. So like people who go to London and then just point at Big Ben and go like, wow, and then just go home.
Yeah, like sightseeing tours, pretty much.
yeah, no. I would. That's why I'm not saying those are the type of people that would want to go to every country. You want to go and enjoy yourself on a vacation. That's because Cancun is a vacation spot. There's nothing really like no
Yeah,
major
I
building or
think
something to see there.
yeah, Cancun is actually probably the worst example you could have brought up because Cancun is just the experience. You're not going there to learn about Mexican culture or see
I know.
Mexican sightseeing places. Yeah, so I would want to go to Cancun.
Oh, okay. So I just that's why I was making sure that it's
Just
because
pulling an
you I could
Alex again.
no
Just
no no
pulling an
no no
What
Alex
no
about
no no
again.
Moose no Moose. I can go back in this episode because I edited. I'm gonna edit this, and you literally said, What's the point? I could just look at a picture of something, and it'd be no different than me actually experiencing it."
it's not it's not what he said, man.
He said that.
Yeah,
But no, but you
yeah.
don't go to
Pick one. Am
Cancun
I
to
going to Cancun just to look at a picture?
yeah,
No, you're going there to
but
experience.
no, like there. That's the I don't know what you're. Do you go to the beach to look at the beach? No, but when you go
No.
to the Eiffel Tower, you only go. You can't climb the Eiffel Tower. You can only look at it. So that's what Moose is
Yeah.
saying. He's like, I don't want to go to the Eiffel Tower because I don't want to go in person, spend my money to go just look at something that I could look at on Google. But Moose is saying, yeah, I want to go to Cancun because I don't look at the pictures of the beaches. I go to the beach. I go in the water at the beach. So I don't know
No,
what you're not gonna get
I
Moose with this. This is just pulling an Alex. This is
no,
classic
no, no,
pulling
no,
an
no.
Alex.
I
It's so
understand
far.
now what Moose was saying, but that's why I was trying to clarify with the Cancun example. I don't think it's far-fetched for me to clarify that after he said something as bizarre as, "What's the point of experiencing it when I could just take a look at a picture?"
Oh, bro, you just did not understand what he was saying. That you're just being dumb, and you're just taking Moose's past stupidity and using it against him. Sorry, Moose, but that is exactly what Alex is doing. I, it was very obvious what Moose is trying to say
Well,
because
Moose has some very weird ideas. I that's why I was just trying to clarify some of the stuff that he says. It's just
exactly. So you're
very
using
weird
his
takes.
past stupidity against him.
I okay, I guess I
Discriminating
am.
against him because he's stupid. Moose, you just gotta take that. Just get discriminated against because you're stupid. Stupid Moose.
Cool. What's on your bucket list?
I have a lot of things on my bucket list. I want to do like a lot of random stuff. Like I want to drive in a car that'll go like 200 miles per hour. I would want to take a private jet ride. I would want to have a boxing slash an MMA fight in my life, even if it's like an amateur fight.
You reminded me. I also want to fly in a helicopter.
Hmm.
That's fire. Have you guys ever gone paragliding?
No,
Do you know what that is? That's where you're like in a parachute and it's linked up to a boat. That
Paragliding?
yeah, that is fire.
it's always looked fun, but I've never done it. Like all that, like surfing, anything like that. I just really don't see the appeal like that. But like I've been on
Mm.
like jet skis before, and that's like
Oh yeah.
extremely fire. Like I always like being on a boat or something like that. Like even just like going out into the middle of the like water and like I'm not even a big person. Like I don't like deep water or anything like that. Like just being in the middle of the ocean and water and like fishing or something or like going on jet skis, like that's always fun.
Hmm.
Most. What about you?
So you guys are gonna yell at me. Um, but like I was like thinking for like 2 weeks about this,
Oh my god.
and like the answer is pretty much everything that you guys have said because I don't really think about it like that, you know? Like I don't really try and think about bucket list because like I want to do everything before I'm dead. I want to experience everything I can before I'm dead. And I think that partially comes from the fact of how like my mind thinks about death. Like do you guys ever get that feeling like when you're thinking about death, like your mind just completely rejects it immediately? Like you cannot like your mind refuses to even engage with comprehending you not existing. Like I physically get ill whenever I think about my own death.
Really?
I'm not sure I can relate to that. I could understand what you mean because it seems like it's like so far away, and it seems like it's never gonna happen, or that you sometimes feel like you're invincible
No, it's not.
because
No,
you don't
it's
think
not.
about it.
It's not
It's not
even
that.
like that. No, I like I know that I'm going to die. The issue is that I don't know what comes afterwards because my mind has only ever known existing. It has no frame of
Mhm.
reference of what not existing it means. Like, what does it mean to be dead? What does it mean when you're not here? Like, it's not dark because when something's dark, when you close your eyes and it's dark, you're still experiencing that. You're still experiencing this. You still have your own thoughts that are going through your mind. That's not the case when you're dead. So, what does that mean? Unless we're talking about life goals, which I don't think that's really the place for your bucket list items. Bucket list items aren't supposed to be like life goals that you work most of your life to achieve, right? It's just stuff that you do. It's experiences on there. Um, so like I don't necessarily have those. I like nothing stands out from one to the other, you know? Like everything that I want to do is stuff that I have to like work to do and I have to actively do.
To me, it's like it's that's the least important part is the death part. It's just supposed to be like what you want to accomplish in your life. Like you can rephrase it. How can you think about what you want your life goals to be without thinking about death? It's the same way. What you want to accomplish in your life. Do you have to think about experiencing dying to think about what's possible to achieve?
Okay, so when you think of death, right, you're looking at purely the portions right before the bucket list and everything, but you don't think, oh well, my time is coming. You don't ever look at relatives and say, wow, like a lot of them, at least from what I've seen, sort of just feel at peace. Like I can't understand how. Like how can you just feel at peace not knowing what's beyond? Like I'm a religious person. I believe in heaven, but like I'm not willing to put money on it.
I mean, I think it's because honestly, I think it's because of your age. Like you're still young. Like you haven't done anything that you've set out to do yet because you just haven't had the opportunity. Like you haven't even started your first career yet. So
But
like it makes
that's
sense.
part of it, right? Like you've done everything that you wanted to, but are you sure about that? Like I'm sure if you ask them, oh, what else do you want to do? Like I feel like most people are able to come up with like five different other things that they want to do, even while they're on death's doorstep.
I mean, yeah, I feel like that just comes down to whether you're like a perfectionist or not. Like most people, that won't really bother them because they understand that like not everything can get done in in your life. You're not gonna get you don't check every single thing off your bucket list. Like nobody does that, and if they do, it's just rare, or they have like a short bucket list or whatever. But if you are like a perfectionist, then like you like actually like dwell on that, which is like it's different being like, damn, I really wish I had done that in my life. Like that's not really being a perfectionist. That's just like you realize, oh, that's something I wish I could have done. And like just dwelling on that and like that stopping you from like living a good life, whatever's left, or like even like having that mindset like right up until you die pretty much. Like I feel like there's a difference of being like, damn, I wish I had done that. But like I'm still like okay with what I've done, which I feel like what most people are like. But then there's a difference with that and like being like my life was like I didn't do well in my life because I didn't do the A or like XYZ. I didn't do that. So I didn't live my life to the fullest. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. This is sort of tangentially. So like today, I was gonna go to like a when I was in high school, and in that club, like I won a lot of awards. Like I'm also part of a group chat filled with people who are also part of the club, and like some of them never won awards or did anything of like have any big accomplishments that they can call their own in that club. Yet they still have fond memories of when they were in that club, and so like that like it's sort of tangentially related to the death thing because like I just don't understand like why are they so happy about like going back and helping out if like they have sort of nothing to show for in the club. Like it sort of confuses me as well. Because like I feel like if I haven't accomplished anything of where I am, like I don't see the point of it in the end, really.
I mean, like, okay, so like, let's imagine you put like 4 years of commitment into something, and like, yeah, you weren't the best at it, but like, you enjoyed doing it, and like, that was the thing. Like, that's something you spent time doing. That like, when you go back to it, you're going to have some sort of like fond memory. Like, just because there wasn't any like success. Like, imagine you just like one thing that you used to do when you were a little kid was like I don't know, you would go like shoot a basketball, but you never would score. Like literally you would just go shoot a basketball for like every day for like 4 years. And you enjoyed doing that every day. You enjoyed being outside and getting a workout and shooting. And then later in your life you go back to it and then like you get some of that same joy from like being back at a place that like you used to love, and like, you know what I mean? Like there is like still just like the enjoyment of being somewhere that like once brought you good memories. But maybe they do have that like feeling of damn, I didn't even win anything. Like maybe that does like bother them still, but like at the same time they're okay with that because like they're in a different part of their life now. So
Yes, it sounds like these people that are coming back still had good memories of being in the club because ultimately it's not about whether you win or not. It's whether or not how much fun you had doing it. So just because they don't have anything to show for it doesn't mean they're not passionate about it or had a good time or not regretted being there.
yeah, it's like not winning drum major. Like that's just not the end of the world. Like you could still like you could like not win drum major and just have
Nice.
like fond memories of like a club.
No, I mean,
And it's totally okay that you didn't win drum major. And it's nothing to
yeah,
cry
I
so
about.
mean, some people would say that you're a loser, but like not me. Some people would say that though.
wow, thank you. Um, but like, yeah, so like in band, I didn't win drum major, and I remember sitting at home, and like my parents were just talking to me like, well, you put so much time into this club, you put so much into it, but you have really nothing to show for it because you're not drum major, you're not section leader. Alex is section leader, so like, what are you doing? What's the point of it? And so that's like what motivated me to get something in the band done. So like, if I couldn't be
They
drum
said
major,
that
well,
to
now
you?
I'm band president. It was a conversation that we had once, and my sister was also like part of it. She was like, I don't understand why we have to get there so early. You're not drum major, you're not section leader. Like, there's no point.
God damn. She
Damn.
told your ass.
That is cold, bro.
Cold as ice, bro. She got
It,
you.
And
it's
did you say, wait a minute, but what are you though? Do you have any leadership roles? Did you say that? Did you double down on it?
she started the band around that time. So
She
what are
started
you
what?
talking? She's 3 years younger than me. So by the time you were section leader, she just
Oh,
started in the band.
okay.
But it was just weird because I was literally, I like, this memory didn't even come to me until like yesterday night, and I'm like, that's the reason why I care so much about getting something done and being accomplished and stuff. That's the reason why I care so much about like getting accomplishments done at my job because of that one conversation I had where my parents are like, "There's you have wasted." At that time, it was like what 4 or 5 years of my life.
But Moose, it's like the same thing as like a sports team. Like imagine you're like a player and like on a sports team that like I don't know, was like were you guys good in band in terms of like team
We
performance? Like I know you guys had band
We were
competitions
for
where you guys
2 years, and then we were on a losing streak for the next 7.
Four.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, we were there for the next 4, but we are still on a losing
Oh,
streak.
okay.
But yeah,
Yeah,
like
but that doesn't mean that it's like there are plenty of football players that have never won a Super Bowl and plenty of football teams that have never won a Super Bowl, but that doesn't mean that they're having any less. Oh, maybe it means they're having less fun.
like what I'm saying is like Moose would be like consider like let's say Moose is like a wide receiver on a team that it goes fucking 5 wins max every year, right? And
Yeah.
let's say like Alex is also on the team, and Alex is the one that gets recognition for like being the best player on that team, right? Like people recognize him as the best player on the team. But just because most people aren't saying you're the best player on the team doesn't mean you're not adding any value. And I don't think anybody that like knew you at the time and knew like what you were doing for the band would say that you had no value. It's just maybe like some people and like there is going to be people that think you're better than Alex or like that Alex is better than you. That's just how it's going to go. But if like that doesn't mean you're not getting any credit or you're wasting your time. Like
Yeah, but like when we were in the band, the entire mindset, and it's just, I'm not just talking about being here. This is like the entirety of the band. The entire mindset was we have to win. If we're not winning, then there's something being done wrong. We were on a winning. We won 2 years in a row, and we did so well that they promoted us in competition. So like if we were playing JV before, now we're varsity. Um, and like obviously we got our ass kicked when we moved up into the division, but we were doing well with comes to, we were like doing some complicated music and complicated marching stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they brought us down a division. Like the director there decided to go down in division because he just wanted to win. He didn't care that much that about the music or anything like that. And so like I feel like that mindset was all over the place. Alex would even attest that he was frustrated by not winning. He wasn't like enjoying it when he wasn't winning.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that. Say I had like, I had a crystal ball and I knew that I wouldn't be winning for the next 4 years. That doesn't mean that I would go back and change and like leave the band just because of
If
that.
you had
Like
if
just
you had
because
a
we're not
crystal
winning
ball,
doesn't mean I wouldn't do it.
no, if you had a crystal ball saying that you weren't gonna win for the next 4 years, I would almost guarantee you would have quit it.
I don't know. I would have to think about that.
Well,
I
while you
don't
think
think I
about
would.
that, I think you would. But while you think about that, let's wrap this up for today. Thank you so much for listening. Please go ahead and check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, or any other podcasting platform that you're on, because we are literally everywhere. Please go ahead and give us a like if you're on YouTube. Please rate us 5 stars on any of the other podcasting platforms. Thank you. Fuck you. Bye.